So in 2020, my most affluent year financially in my life. I worked so many years to be financially free. And that exact year, probably like 9 months later, I got robbed at gunpoint, gun to my head. And at that moment, I didn't just get robbed of like my confidence. I got robbed of my freedom, robbed of my fearlessness. I got robbed of just the identity of Nathalie. And I didn't really realize how much damage that did to me at that moment because I still kept going. I've always been taught to keep going, to keep pressing forward. And in that season of my life, I was in a relationship. And my boyfriend at the time, he tried his best to be there, but honestly, it wasn't enough.
You ever opened up your journal and you thought for a moment, dear future self, dear future life, or for me, dear future husband? Join me on this journey as I explore love, romance, and happiness, and have intriguing conversations with individuals as we explore their secret lives in romance and in love. I'm Belinda Sanders, and this is my podcast, Dear Future Husband. Hey guys, still season 2 of Dear Future Husband podcast. And when I tell you that this guest, she's so lit. I love her. Oh my God. I'm so excited about this conversation. I can't wait to dig deep into all her business, y'all. With permission, of course. So I would love to introduce to you guys the beautiful, the iconic Miss Nathalie Nicole. Welcome to Dear Future Husband podcast.
Hey, Belinda girl.
Hey, babe. Beautiful as always.
Thank you so much. You look amazing.
Thank you, beautiful. And I must mention that this particular podcast is sponsored by TLC Products, NRG, and my favorite, NutriBurst.
Yes, because I'm on it right now.
Girl, oh really? So I can have this one, right?
Oh, yeah, you can have it.
All right, so Nathalie, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming in and, sitting down on this couch. I mean, we had plenty of conversations on the phone, but to finally have you here in person, live and in person, girl, that is something else. So let's get right into it. Tell me a little bit about you. What do you want everybody to know?
Well, I'm just excited just to be able to serve your platform. When I think about Dear Future Husband, I think about just all the women in the world that might be in the same place as myself. Yes. I think a lot of times when you think about marriage and you think about motherhood, sometimes it can be overwhelming because you think you have to be perfect, right? So I feel as though our conversations going to free a lot of women that are listening right now at the right place at the right time and give them some hope.
Oh, yes. All right, so you talked a lot about marriage, obviously, because this is the platform for that, and you and I have those conversations in private. But what does that look like for you? Like, what's your ideal man?
It has changed quite a bit, and my truth that most people don't know is that out of 35 years of living, I honestly never had the desire to get married right away. I've always wanted to be a wife, but I always knew that I needed to get some certain things out of my system. It wasn't anything about like men. It was like my hustle and my passion for the things that I want to do. And I feel like as a wife, you are coming together as a family. It's a union, and you are now serving your husband as well. I feel like in the past I was a little selfish. I was all about my dreams, my goals, and I also believe that God has prepared me for my husband. I feel like all of my experiences in life, the failures, the ups, the devastating relationships, they didn't take me out. And I still was strong. So I feel like as a Proverbs 31 woman that is molding into her, I feel as though that God is literally doing a new work in me right now. So as far as a husband, I'm excited about my husband. I really am. I am. I can finally say that. Like, I'm excited about just being able to love the same man over and over again, and being able to give him his, my first children. His, he might have a couple of kids or a child around. I'm okay with that. But it's like, I just know that that's it. Like, I'm the type of person where when I do commit to my husband,
Yeah.
that's going to be it. I just
Yeah.
know God is not going to play with me. I feel as though I just trust God, and I feel like he's not going to play with me or my husband.
Yeah.
And he's going to make sure that we are equally yoked. He's going to make sure that we're aligned. He's going to make sure that we're living in our truth. He's going to make sure that we get through things. They're going to be tough times, but we're tough people. So I just feel as though that all these years of life has prepared me for that day and to be a great mom.
Wow. I love that. So I can't, as you were talking, I'm just your energy, your presence, it's so alluring. And it's absolutely it's amazing. But I have to mention this. I remember, because I visited different conferences and everything with you, and there was a different Nathalie present.
Yeah, there was.
I mean, you're still Nathalie, the beautiful, iconic Nathalie Nicole.
Yeah.
But the energy that you're bringing out, I mean, everyone sees it even on social media. You are bringing something different. Something gave birth in you. Let's talk about that.
I think so I hate to bring the whole robbery up every time, but that moment changed my life. It wasn't a man that changed my life. It was.
You gotta tell me what moment.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you about that. So in 2020, my most affluent year financially in my life. I worked so many years to be financially free. And that exact year, probably 9 months later, I got robbed at gunpoint, gun to my head. And at that moment, I didn't just get robbed of my confidence. I got robbed of my freedom, robbed of my fearlessness. I got robbed of just the identity of Nathalie. And I didn't really realize how much damage that did to me at that moment, because I still kept going. I've always been taught to keep going, to keep pressing forward. And in that season of my life, I was in a relationship, and my boyfriend at the time, he tried his best to be there, but honestly, it wasn't enough. It was something that God had to intercede and do, because I was so weak. Honestly, I was so weak. All of my years of trusting God, now I'm questioning God. I literally will wake up and God, why did you do that? And I could not get past it. So everything was triggering for me. Money was triggering for me. Can you imagine working really hard and, doing what you thought you're supposed to do and, treating people good, and then all of a sudden you get robbed. So now in my mind, I don't trust people. I don't really want to hang out with anybody. I don't really want to collaborate with anyone. And I just want to be in the house. And I want to be in the house at the time with my boyfriend. I will go to my store. At the moment, I opened up a store, which is still open now in the Galleria. But even when I opened up my store in the Galleria, I never went. I just staffed the store, and that's when my life kind of went to a downhill. It did. And when I say that it was a down, but it was still good, because God gave me this abundance. God gave me this favor, and I did not do right with it at that moment, because now thinking back at the situation, I was not grateful. I wasn't I looked at the moment God, why would you do this to me? Why would you even play with me like that? And I was disrespecting my prayers. I'm not gonna lie. I was mad. I was mad. So fast forward, it took me getting right with God again. It took me when I got right with God, I broke up with my boyfriend, because I realized that regardless of whatever I thought he was doing wrong, I was not a good fit to be in a relationship. I just wasn't a good fit. I wasn't in the space to cater to anybody but myself. Wow. And I needed to survive at that moment. My life was on the line, so.
I get it. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you, but, and I mentioned this to you before. Yeah. There's a certain level of awareness that you have that a lot of women, we just don't have that. Just to be in a relationship and just say, I'm not a good fit for this relationship, to take total responsibility for whatever you're experiencing. So it's not the guy, it's not your life. I'm not a good fit for this relationship. What type of life or what type of mentorship have you had to bring you to that space?
It was a few things. Well, number one, taking accountability is just something that I believe gives you freedom. Yeah. So regardless of whatever he was doing wrong, I'm not saying he was perfect.
Right.
It's not about him anymore. It's about me. It's about my happiness, right? It's about my freedom. And I had to look at the situation and say, okay, our dynamics have changed, right? I'm in a place right now where I'm really sad. I've gained a lot of weight. I feel broken, and I don't feel loved. So at that, by you, man, and I was asking myself, was that a lot to ask somebody? But in reality, his bandwidth just wasn't, the capacity wasn't there to give me what I needed at that moment, and it's okay. So I had to take accountability of like, what does self-love look like? Some people think self-love and self-care is going to the hair salon and going to get their nails done. That's not my type of self-care and self-love. My self-care and my self-love is literally sitting here sometimes, Belinda, and just feeling good about my thoughts. If my thoughts are negative, then there's some type of reversing I need to start doing. I need to take a little moment for myself. I might go to the spa. I might go, read some more books. I might just sit in the backyard and just do nothing. I might turn my phone on silent and not answer any texts or any calls, because I realized that I was serving everybody else but myself. So God, he didn't like that for me. Like, he loves me so much that he was like, listen, daughter, I had enough of you. So the accountability came from, he just was downloading. Every time I was like seeking him, he would download more into me. And I would seek him more, and he would download more into me. And I would seek him more, he would download more into me. It was like this thing that we had. It was like this relationship that we were rebuilding. Wow. We were rebuilding. So instead of me rebuilding my relationship with my man, at the time, I was rebuilding my relationship with God. And although I've always been this woman that loved God, I wasn't operating his principles every single day. It's not about Instagram. How do you live your life behind closed doors? How do you live your life off of social media? When you wake up, what do? Do you go to social media first, or do you go to God first? Because the problems that I had, social media could not solve them.
Right.
So I had to literally take accountability of where I was at the moment. I had to remove money for a moment, because money was solving a lot of my problems temporarily. Like, it was easy for me to just pay a bill, to pay this person, do that. And I just was like, Nathalie, something's not right with you. Like, you got to fix this. And my truth is, I love God enough where I was not going to commit suicide, but I had very deep, dark thoughts. Like, I was very triggered. Like, if I see the news and someone got robbed, or I saw the news and like one of my friends that passed away, Mercedes Moore, she got murdered in her house, that triggered the heck out of me. So in my mind, it's like, oh, life is going to end anyways. It was bad thoughts. As a spirit being, I'm not used to thinking like that. You get what I'm saying? So when you don't think clearly, and if you don't have joy, if you don't have peace, if you don't have love, guess what? You make bad decisions.
Right.
So my decisions were a byproduct of what I was feeling. So I was spending money frivolously on things because I was like, well, just spend it. You're gonna, you have the money, just spend it. No, Nathalie, that is God's money he gave you. You are being irresponsible. So it was me taking a moment, Belinda, and saying, you know what? We're not going out like that. You went through way too much in life for you to do this to yourself. You're self-sabotaging right now. You're a God's child right now. Whatever happened in the past is the past. If you trust me, I'm going to give you the desires of your heart. So I start boldly speaking that to myself every single day. And that's what really changed my mindset.
I love that. Okay. Here's what's coming up for me right now. One of the things that I've noticed, and the reason why I wrote my book, Dear Future Husband, right? As a matter of fact, I have a copy for you.
Yay! I was waiting for this.
Yes, girl. So
I love this.
One of the things is I realized that we are always going to attract to the level of our emotional health, right?
Yeah.
I talk about that a lot. So no matter who we appear to be, we are going to attract experiences, and I'm not saying that this has anything to do with your Robert, I'm talking about relationships, right?
Yeah, no, true.
So we're going to attract experiences in love and in life that's equivalent to our emotional health.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? The part of us that we hide.
Yeah.
Okay? So what I'm hearing is that as you had that experience, God began to work on your heart. He began to transform you from the inside out. So you could no longer have the same communication. You could no longer have the same associations. Is this sounding familiar, right?
Yeah.
And then you force yourself to now have different experiences in love as well.
Yeah.
As well in life. I don't know.
So where my challenge lies, Belinda, and I'm still unpacking this from my life. I've never really been boy crazy or man crazy, even when I'm going through emotional stuff.
Yeah.
I've attracted some really like cool guys, right? It's really me. My dad I've always had a dad in my life. So of course I didn't have the perfect like childhood, but my dad loves me so much where it was like for a man to come in my life, his love tank has to be there for me, you know?
Yeah.
So my biggest challenge just overall in years is like the emotional trauma of the person I'm dating, you know? It's like a lot of guys that the guys that I have attracted or given the time of day, like, they just have trauma, you know? And it's like, okay, I battle this thing. I have battled this thing in my mind where it's like, okay, did God give me this love tank to, like, operate in this high frequency of love for my man, right? So my challenge in the past was feeling like I was his savior and I was this angel for this man. And that definitely, I had to fix that. Because if someone's not ready, they're just not ready. But where I am now, to answer your question, you're absolutely right. When I did the work on myself, like, again, this is just moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, in my dating life, it's healthy. Like, I don't argue. I'm not the girl that's going to be texting all these long messages. Like, I just rock with myself, you know?
Right.
And I feel like you're right. When I did enter the healing space, I am operating at a different frequency right now.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
But I have to still pay attention to my flesh and my spirit, because my flesh can say, hey, Nathalie, you're tired and you should just settle down. But then my spirit says, no. You have came this far in life. You're 35 years old. There's nothing wrong with moms. I think moms are amazing. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
But I also look at myself like, okay, if you, like, you're 35 years old, you don't have to rush to have a baby. You take care of yourself.
Right.
You've never been married before. Like, it's okay to, like, slow down, Nathalie. So that's something that I feel like my challenge has been, where I would get into something and I have to, like, say, you know what, God, you lead this. Because my flesh is saying something different right now. So that's where I am, man. I feel like a lot of single women, because they reach out to me on social media, like, how do you do it? And it's like me allowing God to lead me again. Like, I need him to lead me. Like, I can't even do it without him. So what I thought I can do before, like flesh and money, that it doesn't work anymore for me. Like, I really need my man. And I think as much as I feel that my spiritual tank, my man has to be filled with the spirit too, because I know that I'm not easy, you know? And when I say I'm not easy, I'm not saying I'm crazy, but
you will challenge him.
Yeah, like, I'm not the girl that's like, okay, babe, whatever you say. If you do wrong, I'm like, no, I don't know about that. But I'm learning how to not be so, like, I feel like in my past relationships, I've always had something to say. Now I'm learning to have wisdom. I, like, don't have a sharp tongue anymore. I'm like, if someone says something, I'm like, oh. And I wait for the moment. I was like, hey, babe, you know, I didn't really love that. I'm just learning so much about myself. I was not like that girl.
I love it. It's funny, too, because you just mentioned something that I know I was guilty of.
Really?
It's called the white knight syndrome.
Oh, what is that?
I needed to fix everybody. Like, I would get into relationships with men that were broken.
Yeah.
Not realizing that it was just a way for me to mask my brokenness. So that's why I understand that, okay, until I confront myself and who I am and where I'm going and who I'm resting in Belinda being, I'm going to continue to attract
the same type
of guy.
That's good, sis.
But with different names.
Yeah.
So, it was called, I had to discover for myself that it was literally called the white knight syndrome, to where we want to save. We need the broken man so that we can feel valuable.
See, for me, it was, that's where I had to go see a therapist for, because it wasn't even for me for the valuable part, because I got so much going on. Like, really, I didn't really have the energy to just fix everybody. It's just, for me, like, I see the good in people. Like, even in friendships, like, even, like, building a relationship with you, I had to literally heal from the trauma I went through with friendships, with women. So I feel like it's not that I want, like, me overcompensating, like, Belinda, what do you need me to do? What do you, like, it's not that I want you to feel valuable. I just want to love you. Like, you know, I love love. So I realized that I'm a lover. I love romantic stuff. That's the thing when guys date me, it's like, they think that I just, like, I have it all and I don't like the little things. No, I like you to be thoughtful. Like, be thoughtful. I don't care if your mama didn't teach you that. Like, society should have taught you that by now. And the good Lord, when you really, like, sit down with him, he'll tell you, like, this is my daughter, treat her good, you know? So I realized that it's not me wanting to feel valuable in the man's life or my friend's life. It is, I love love, and I feel like I want what I will give to somebody else.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So with my friendships,
yeah.
I'm like that. I love. Like one of my homegirls is going through something. I'm like checking on her, like, are you up? Are you good? Mind you, I'm busy. I don't have time to be checking on you every day. But I love you, you know?
Yeah.
So when I love somebody, it's like, it's real. So that's one of my superpowers, and that's one of the things I had to work on too, because I have to guard my heart. That's the season I'm into now. It's like,
so what was bad about that? Because of course, you know, loving love, because I try not to call myself a hopeless romantic. I've taken that out of my vocabulary, but I have the same experiences with people. I'm a humanitarian. I like to give back. I like to find the people that need the help and give it to them. Now I've trained myself to do it in a healthy way and to set boundaries for myself, right? However, when I realized that I was dealing with the whole, I need to go and save a guy. I need to go fix him. It was inadequacies in me. That was my problem. I'm not saying that that's yours.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's relatable.
Right. But because I realized that, I also was able to heal myself. Not by myself, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm now in a different space, and I do track different experiences. So what is bad about that though for you? Because you seem to be where I'm going, or where I'm trying to, the level I'm trying to master in terms of love, right? Just clearly identifying what it's like to love and keep that zone safe for you. That's not me. I venture off and I fall back into, I feel so sorry for him. You know what? All you gotta do is do this. Hey, here's this course. And you're like, I'm gonna fix you. I promise you. Give me 30 days. I got you, boo.
Right.
So that's me. So how do you balance that?
So okay, we have a start date when we were born, and we have an end date when we're gonna die, right? It's gonna help. It's gonna help, right? So our most important organ in our body is what?
Our most important one?
What's the most largest? Yes. Yeah. So when something can go wrong with your brain, and a lot of people will be they'll be in the hospital, the ICU unit with their brain, and they're still living, right? Yeah. Your heart, that's a whole different story right there. You have to protect your heart.
Yeah.
That's why you have to work out. That's why you have to make sure you're staying stress-free. You have to make sure you guard your heart. It's biblical.
Wow.
So I had to realize that my heart, no matter if I'm overweight, regardless if I don't, whatever it is I'm trying to tell myself in my mind, my heart is the most important organ in my body. I have to guard my heart, right? So as I continue to grow as a woman, God's child, I realized a couple things. Nathalie, everybody does not deserve access to your heart. Regardless if they're on your TLC team, regardless if they work for you, whatever it is, regardless of whatever it is, you have to make sure that you are protecting your heart. And here's the deal. You got to make sure that you're operating in love. So there's two things I worked on in my life over the past couple of years. Really the past year, I will say, like intentionally. Okay. I speak out of love. I listen out of love. Right. I don't listen just because I used to listen to respond back to what you're saying, like quick. You'll be talking to me, and by the time you tell me your second sentence, I have something to say to you. Right? I don't do that anymore because God loves me, and I have to love His people. Right. But that doesn't mean I have to accept their crap. It's two different things because God doesn't accept my crap. He doesn't accept when I do wrong. Sometimes God says, "Hey, chill out. Okay, you want to be ungrateful? I'm not going to punish you, but I'm gonna let you just ride this one out, Nat." So I had to realize that, Nathalie, you cannot just open your heart and give people access to you. You are God's masterpiece. And when I realize that, I'm telling you, it gives me chills sometimes. When I look at myself in the mirror, I don't care what I have going on. People say, "Well, you're always happy." I understand that joy comes in the morning every single day. And in order for me to have love in my heart, I have to have joy, and I have to understand what matters the most so I can be able to let it sit in my heart or let it pass through. So when we're dealing with these men or, dating or whatever it is, we have to pay attention. Because another thing is somebody can break God's heart, he can break your heart. So if a man is cheating on me, you're not just breaking my heart, you're breaking God's heart. Half the time, the stuff that you're doing that I don't know about, you're breaking God's heart, and the more you break God's heart, he's not going to be able to give you abundance and blessings and overflow. So because he loves me, he sees everything, he's omnipresent, you're breaking his heart, and he's going to make sure that he slides me out the way and protect me. So a lot of the things how I operate, sis, and I just want more women to understand this, is like, we're not God, and we don't have to fix people's life.
Right.
Right? And I don't really believe that he's going to put that type of work in us. I don't really feel like that. I mean, I only have 24 hours in a day. How am I going to spend half my day fixing you? I don't really feel like that's the way the setup should be.
It's not, but we do that.
We did that because when you are aware and we take accountability, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, we
so
we
the
move
old
away
Natalie,
from that.
absolutely.
That's toxic behavior.
The old Natalie, absolutely.
yeah,
But now, I'm sure some people in my life feel like I've changed, and it's okay. You get what I'm saying? Because I have an end date, and my purpose matters right now. So if I obligate my time and energy in making you better, and I don't really know if that's gonna work. So I'm taking too much. It's worse than the lottery. I don't really know what's gonna happen.
I heard this guy say, yeah, I tried to make him, like I tried to change her, and it almost killed me. I mean, literally.
Okay. Stop that. Pick somebody else to do that one.
Right. Like wow, I love it. It's really literally about growth. It's about growth. It's about elevation. But I know too, as women, just really paying attention and putting that line of demarcation in the sand and being able to properly communicate, this is where I was, but guess what? This is where I am now. It creates a pathway to a roadmap for real mentorship. Listen, sis, here's how I'm no longer there. Here's how you can also elevate your life.
And you might fall short sometimes. And that's the most beautiful thing.
Always, yeah.
I feel like sometimes women don't give themselves grace.
Right.
Men and women, but we're talking about women right now.
Yeah.
Women don't give themselves grace. And it's like, okay, yeah, last week I did say that, but today is different, you know? So, because sometimes something downloads and you say, oh, I don't like that, you know? And new rules today. I don't want to do that anymore. But that's okay because God, when we give him and people always say, well, Natalie, why you always relate things to God? Because here's the deal, he's my mentor now. I had therapy and my therapist is cool, but he don't know everything. God knows what I'm doing all the time. Right. I can't hide nothing from him. With your therapist, you tell him what you want, you know? So I realized that sometimes I used to have this pity party. And it literally would last probably a few hours where I would make myself sad. I'm like, why did you do that? And I realized hey, you messed up, but get back up.
That's right.
It's okay. It's a new day, and you're gonna be all right. So I feel like the faster you get back up, the faster a new you can unravel, and you become better every day.
So tell us about that. How do you recover from something like heartbreak or a tough breakup?
So because my favorite organ, the most important organ is my heart. And because I love hard and I love, the enemy knows how to attack you. So the enemy, he's going to attack you on what he thinks your weakness is. Right. So since I know he's trying to attack me on my weakness, my focus has been in my healing process to guard my heart and to keep strengthening my heart every single day and protect my heart. I read a lot of Psalms and Proverbs. I read Philippians this morning, all 4 chapters. I'm just always reading the word because I know if the more God I have in me, the more I can operate in a different frequency, you know? So what I have done to fix my issues recently is get closer to God for real. That's number one. I realized that I have this thing with myself where I can overanalyze. I used to create this whole scenario in my head that was really, really bad. And I'm I can tell a whole story. If I see, if I'm dating you and I see, you like a girl's photo or you and this girl start liking each other's photos. Here's the deal. I trust the God in you not to play with me, right? Instead of me going to overdrive, oh my God, all men cheat, all guys do this. Check this out. I'm a queen. If you feel as though that you want to do different things to me, then God's going to deal with that. But my job is every single day to work on Natalie and become better every single day. Right. You get what I'm saying? But the old me, that was triggering my insecurities. That was triggering my confidence. So my goal as a wife is to be a confident whole woman that is secure. I don't have time to be trying to be investigator, Inspector Gadget, working for the CIA. Like, I don't have time for that.
But also recognizing red flags and toxic behavior.
I think
that's not the activity of a man that's completely has his heart invested in you. If he's doing that, to me, not it. That's the beginning of a budding relationship to me.
So, can I ask you a question? Because I have with social media, and here's the deal. Because I'm not going to go through nobody's phone, right?
Of course not.
So, with social media, if I see somebody's photo and I like it, that doesn't mean I'm talking to that guy.
Right.
So,
of course.
So I feel as though, although I feel like there are a lot of double standards in life, if if a man is liking okay, this is my ex-boyfriend used to do. I don't care, I'll say it. So, what he used to do, this is red flag to me.
Okay.
If you start following a woman and you go like all of her photos, you're trying to get her attention.
Correct.
Okay. To me, that's a red flag.
Right.
If you and a woman,
if you guys are in a committed relationship,
yes,
and that's the type of
that's just weird. Like, yeah,
it's not business related.
Yes.
It's obviously personal.
Absolutely.
Red flag.
But what I had to work on with myself, because social media can wear us down. It can wear us down, sis. And you can be on social media like, where's my phone? Oh, there. Let me just check. It's too much, right?
Right.
So fast forward back to like how I worked on the Better Nathalie. I had to let go of some of the controlling ways and the overthinking of Nathalie, because it was consuming my mind. So when I'm dating a man, if you really want me in your life and you're gonna show me through your actions, you're not gonna make me feel insecure about anything. So here's the deal though. Now it goes back to dating intentionally, dating, and being in a relationship, because I also realize there's a lot of gray areas when there's no clarity, and that also messes with me.
Yeah.
So I also realized that.
As it should.
Yes, and I also realized, Belinda, I'm about to read this book, because I realized that, and let's talk about this. I have a question, because I also realized that no one has created the rules of dating, right? And I'm a relationship type of person.
Right.
But also that can be a toxic behavior, because
Absolutely.
you can go from one relationship for 5 years, 4 years, 7 years, whatever, and now you became this relationship person that you've never dated in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So I hate to reverse this on you, but what are like 3 tips that you would say? Because as a woman is working on herself, she has to learn new behavior if that's what she wants to attract. So what are like some things you can give me, in the dating space, because I'll date the same person. I'm cool with it, but I just me. But I realize that a lot of women I'm talking to, they date a lot of guys, but I think it's based upon preference, because I'm not really into dating a bunch of people at one time. So what do you say
about dating different people at the same time?
What is your dating behavior?
Well, right now it's been changing.
Okay.
Like because I'm used to being married and being in an exclusive relationship, my default is to be in exclusive relationship. So here it is. It's for me. I used to be, when I first got divorced, if I'm dating you and we like each other and we're vibing, you better put a title on it or I will walk away. And that's just that on that, right? If you don't put a title on it and you don't ask me in an appropriate manner to where I have to look you in your face and say, okay, yes, I'll be your girl, I will walk. I mean, that's me. So I make sure that the men in my life know that I will walk, basically. That's just
How's that work for you?
It works great.
Okay.
Like every single man that I've been with, that I've wanted to date exclusively, has chosen me to date them exclusively. So, but right now, I mean, we were also sexually active.
Right.
So
right,
that
right.
was that was another determining factor for me too. Like, dude, no, we're not gonna play that game.
Right.
Not with me. Right.
Right.
So now I'm no longer sexually active. So I have friends, and we spend quality time together, and we're friends.
Like a collection.
No, I don't have a I don't know. No, honestly, because I know that there are women that have collections.
No, I don't know futures.
No, but seriously. I have been avidly against dating several men at a time because I was sexually active with them.
Even when you're celibate, you're doing your thing.
Right. I'm not sexually active with anybody. So I'm getting to know, and it's not because I'm saying, oh, well, I'm going to go out and I'm not going to be sexually active. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not only going to date one man. No, it's just happened like that. And as I've met these men, I've explained to them, this is where I am in my life, and I don't want to take it to the next level with anybody. I'm getting to know different people.
But you look like
and
you're
this is
having
recent.
fun.
I'm having an amazing
You
time.
like you're having a ball.
And I'm posting elbows and hands and wristwatches and everything. And I'm enjoying myself. It's amazing. Okay.
You
I'm
honestly
elevated.
Like you're having fun.
Yes. I mean, and I enjoy the courtship. Men, and it's funny because last month, I would say 2 months ago, I wasn't here. Yeah. Literally 2 months ago, Natalie, I was in a completely different space. And then that's the thing about prayer. It's like when you know exactly what it is you want, you know exactly what it is, who you are, you're going to set those boundaries again. And the first part of setting those boundaries is just saying that I'm going to keep my BJJ to myself. I'm not sharing right now, And I think me being serious about that this time around and not saying, as long as I'm not in a tight situation, I'll do it, because that was me too.
You're being honest.
I'm being very honest,
and you're being accountable to yourself. I love that.
Exactly. So now I'm very intentional because I'm just going to keep it real. If we're in a tight situation, it's probably going to go down. Right. I'm a sexual person.
So you keep yourself out of those.
I keep myself out of those.
So when you go on a date, you're like, okay, we're dating. I mean, we're going on a date, we're going to dinner, and you can drop me back off, or...
No, we meet at an undisclosed location. Okay. You do not know where I live, and we're great. I mean, I don't make you feel like I think you're a creep or anything like that. It's just that, I will meet you here. I will get in your car. My car is left safe, and we will ride together. And then at the end of the evening, we can go to your place, and we'll hang out. We'll watch a movie. I mean, even cuddle on the couch. Right. I've even done that in this season of my life.
It's fun.
And it has not gone anywhere. Right. It's just been a cuddle on the couch. Natalie, let me be honest with you. I love it. I'm enjoying it. It's true for me. It's been true intimacy.
Yeah.
I mean, conversation that's wrapped around into me. You're seeing. I need the man that's going to be with me to get to know me on different levels.
I strongly agree with that.
And the vagina is going to block you from a few different things. I mean, it just does what it does. There's power in the vajayjay, and we have to understand our power. It blinds the men, right? Yeah. It blinds them. So, and it keeps them from really making sound decisions in terms of what's good for the relationship. Do they really want to be in a relationship? No. If they'll say or pretend like they want to just to keep having sex with you.
I think most men will do that, and I also think that a lot of women, for me, that's why I've had this conversation because it's so much fun. Yeah. And I feel like the woman I am today, I am enjoying my life right now again. And even when it comes down to dating, I am dating, and I'm enjoying it. I've been dating, a person, it's fun, and I just think that it goes back to what your core values are and the respect you have for yourself, too. And it can change, right? Yeah. So I feel like as you're building your core values as a woman, if someone violates that, then now it's bye-bye, right? Yeah. It's bye-bye. You're not respecting where I'm at, and I feel like every woman has to figure out what their core values are. And I feel that the reason why I asked you that is because as a mom, as someone that has been divorced before, it's like you have a new set of rules for yourself because you went through this life. You're like, you know what, I don't like this, I don't like this. Correct. And in my space too, it's like I have rules for myself. I love it here because I can listen to all these perspectives and you know what? I like this for me too, I want to change this about my life. I had someone call me the other day, and we kind of she wasn't combative, but she was telling me about dating rules. And I'm like, that works for you, sis. Right. But this is what I do because I'm a businesswoman. I'm super busy. I don't like a lot of small talk for real. I don't have time for that. Some guys need that from you. They need to FaceTime you all day. Baby, are you working today? I'm working today. So I love the fact that you are creating your own rules for your life right now. I love that.
And what's interesting, most men that I'm dating right now, they're like, yo, I've never met a woman like you. You're busier than I am.
Right.
It's like, and I it's so funny, right? The guy I dated before, I would tell him hey, I'm available such and such. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm busy. Can we do it? So it was more on his schedule.
Oh, yeah, no.
And honestly.
No, I know what you mean. I've been there before.
When he was available.
Yeah.
And so now the men are like, oh, you're available? Oh, okay. So I'm gonna move some things around. I'm like, oh, okay, you gotta move. And men are actually training me that when I have different expectations, they will deliver.
Sis, right there, that's the part. Listen, that's a green light.
Yeah.
A man will make time for what he wants.
Yeah.
a woman will make time for what she wants as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the part that we have to just really understand as a culture. Like, I feel like social media has created this space where everyone's selling themselves. It's like, I'm a wife, I'm a husband, I choose me, please.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I see one more post about what a wife looks like and what a husband looks like and who I am and what I'm a tolerate, I'm saying, baby, you're overselling, sis. You're overselling, sis. I need a man to text me 5 times a day. Like, you're literally telling this guy, but here's the deal.
Exactly what he needs to do.
Because he's going to show up as him at the beginning. And he's going to change the game once he gets you.
Right.
No, show me who you are from the jump.
It's, girl.
You know? And that's what that friend, I love also what you said, like the men getting to know you. Like, friendship means so much to me. I will never in my life again not build a solid friendship before committing into anything. Because that's the part where we understand each other if we're compatible. All sister friends are not going to be sister friends. There might be things that you do that I just don't like. And it's okay. I can respect what you have going on, but you're just not my friend. You know? And I feel like as we grow as women, that's a conversation that has to continue to be had so we can understand that everyone's not for everybody. And it's okay. Doesn't mean you're unattractive. Doesn't mean you're not a good person. You're just not my person.
And that's it.
Yeah, we're okay.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so we got to get a little bit deep. Thank you so much for your vulnerability, by the way, so far.
This is fun.
Okay, so back to cheating. The audience wants to know, have you dated a cheater? And if you did, how did you get through it?
Oh my God. You know, this is a good question. I've dated multiple cheaters. And the thing about it, when I date them, I don't even know they're cheating, right? Because I'm the type of woman at the time where I'm just not into like clocking you all day long. And I just feel as though that I'm showing up as her. If you and your bone feels like that you want to do something like that, God is going to protect me. And every single time, 3 times, God, the first time we had like a situationship type of thing. So him in his mind, he's like, I'm not cheating on you because we're saying that, you know, I'm not cheating on you because we're not in a official relationship. Right. So you know what? I helped you out, bro. You're bro now. Like, I'm cool off of you. And guess what? I have not dealt with him or dated him in years. That guy. The second time that I can really remember, because I feel like there's different forms of cheating. That's a whole other story. The second time, it was like, this guy just blatantly cheated and lied. And I literally approached him about it. And I broke up with him. Right? I was like, this is not it. I'm not, if you could cheat on me once, you're going to cheat on me again. It's going to happen all the time. And I'm not going to ruin my life like that. I just don't want that for me. So the third time, I did not know. I found out after the fact. And let me tell you about this one. This one took me by surprise. Because here I am in my healing journey. You know, God is good. God is great. And I couldn't put my finger on why our frequency was really off. But I did realize this. Regardless of my flaws, I was a good woman to this person, you know? And God knew you cheated on me. You broke God's heart. I'm going to go back to that. You broke God's heart, and God was not about to play with me like that. So even though we broke up, 9 months later, I found out that guy cheated on me. And I'm going to be honest with you.
9 months later.
9 months later. When I found out, it was 2 different feelings I had. It wasn't like, oh my God, I want to just fall out. It was more like, wow, that's a little crafty there, you know? Like, it was like, okay, I did cry because it was just like, who wants to be cheated on?
Right.
You know, but it was like a cry, like, okay, a relief, like, okay, this was really happened. Then me and the person had a conversation, and that was probably the best conversation we had in our entire dating history. And it was a lot of freedom in it. And it was like, let me tell you this, Melinda, and I love this conversation right now. It was so healing for my husband because I don't have to go into my next relationship as a scorned, like broken woman. It was like the conversation was like, he took accountability and he was like, you know, I was wrong. I didn't know how to tell you this. How do I tell Nathalie I did this or I did that, you know? And I was like, you know what, you're right. How could you have told me?
Right.
You know, it would have been, Liz, it would have been turned up. Okay, I gonna lie to you, I wasn't mature back then. I just wasn't that mature.
Right.
I don't know what I would have done, honestly. Listen, I don't want to know.
I kind of see a picture right now.
I see a picture because I know I watch enough movies, but I just feel like I would have been really down.
Right.
I don't really feel like I could have took any more blows in that season of my life, you know? So fast forward, I want the best for him. And, you know, no love lost, but let's talk about Nathalie, because that's something that he has to deal with God with, right?
Yeah.
You're like, in order for you, it's good, okay, it came out that you cheated on me. You didn't tell me. It came out. Now you got to deal with God. You can get some counseling. You got to figure out what is that trigger point of why you keep cheating on people. What's going on? But guess what? That's not my project, right? So when you give somebody to God, like when you give somebody to God, it's not you trying to say you're throwing them away. It's like, you know what? God got you. You're his son. And here's the deal. My love tank, I don't hate this person at all. I want you to be whole. I want you to be happy. But I have to focus on Nathalie. I got to focus on making sure that Nathalie is more aware next time. When I do feel like something is off, I have to put my foot down. Like, hey, what's going on? Speak up for myself.
Right.
I can't be a people pleaser. I can't just let things just slide when things are happening. So where I am right now, I had to create non-negotiables for my life. Like anyone that wants to be in my presence and you want me to be in your presence, I am a queen. Not just because we're saying this on social media, you're a queen, you're a king. No, God has created me as her. Okay? So because he created me as her, I'm going to be treated as her, and I'm going to operate as her, and I'm going to be able to attract what I deserve.
That's right.
So just because someone has a track record of cheating on women doesn't mean that I will tolerate that, or do I feel like I'm going to change that about you. So now I have these conversations when I am dating someone, like, tell me about your love life. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever, like, tell me about your last relationship? I'm listening now. I never asked those type of questions before, Belinda. I don't think I cared enough. I think that I was too consumed with my own life that I never, like, dug into somebody else's. Like, how's the relationship with your mom? And it's okay if you and your mom have a broken relationship. Let's get to the root of it. Like, how does that make you feel?
You know what I can't leave in my head? I'm listening wholeheartedly, but the fact that you broke up with him not knowing that was going on.
I didn't know.
But 9 months later, it was revealed to you. So many of us, we miss that trust part that happens for us. Like it's like God will give us evidence that he can be trusted.
Yeah.
Trust your gut, trust that feeling, trust that inspiration to move on and not look back.
Yeah.
So I'm just so grateful that he gives us those moments of, like, in hindsight, we get to look back and like, you know, I'm so glad I left that.
And I think also is like people forget that rejection is God's protection. It doesn't mean that person is trash. It doesn't, because a lot of women, here, let's go back to women too. A lot of women do things that are not great too. They're just a little bit more sneakier, you know? Let's keep it a buck, right? So at the end of the day, I realize in my life, there's some things that I did too that I'm like, you know, I could have done better. So I've always been working on me. Until somebody works on themselves, like, there's not going to be no freedom in any area of your life.
Right.
So God was not about to play with nobody's son either. I was not ready to be anyone's wife in the past. Well, it wasn't so much about cheating. It's just like really like the respect level and the honoring and like all that stuff. And it was just, I wasn't there yet, you know? So it took me going through situations in my life to say, you know what? Okay, yes, you did that in hindsight, but there's a lot of things I did too. And guess what? It just wasn't our moment, right? So where I get freedom in, because sometimes we can get so caught up in this person did this, and I don't really care to even dig into that, you know? Like, I don't want to feel that hurt, because God has already healed me. So I'm in a space right now, it's like I'm protecting my heart, right? So if I go back in these moments in life and keep trying to unpack and why this and why that, let me go back to social media and let me figure out the day you did it. I'm not doing that. I just like, so I feel like you're right, but I also feel like rejection, when we see these moments where things are not working out for us, you gotta say, you know what? Thank you, God. Thank you, God. You know, thank you. And that's it. So even the moments in life I have right now is like, okay, bet, I'm enjoying myself, but if things take a turn, it's okay.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
I love it. And too, but being married before, I know that for my personal self, that God has shown me those moments to where I know that I was living up to all the light that I had in my marriage, and I was being a good wife, living with integrity.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after the divorce that I found out things.
You didn't deserve that. I don't think nobody does.
Right.
No, let me go back up. I didn't deserve none of. Anytime anyone has ever did me dirty, I never deserved it. But I'm saying as far as, because I agree, and I want people to understand that. Cheating is non-negotiable.
Right.
It's not okay. They do it once, they're going to do it again. They'll keep doing it, right? Someone putting their hands on you. No one has ever put their hands on me. It's going to happen again and again and again, okay? You never know when their trigger moment is. So I agree with it, and I think people need to hear what you said, because as a wife, sometimes people, they feel like, I just did everything for my man, and I don't understand. Now they have this pity party in their head, like they're not good enough. No, you are good enough.
That was his choice.
That's him. You can't control anybody in their actions.
Not on you.
You get, and you're gonna free a lot of women. I think we are in this conversation because people are in their house, like being sad right now, feeling like they're not good enough. Oh my God, I gotta lose weight. No, you can have the nicest body, you can have money. And it does not matter. It's not enough. You know. So until that man is being risen by God, honestly, and really is like operating in His principles, and I will keep going back to that because there's too much temptations out in the world.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to cheat. It's too easy out here. But until you say, you know what? I respect myself as a man. I have self-love for myself. And why would I ever do that to my girl or ever do that to my woman? Like, I'm not doing that.
It has to be a personal choice for me. It can't be. It will never be. And we oftentimes think that it's about us and about the woman.
Yeah.
It could never be about us. It's always about the man and his choice. This has been amazing. Oh my God.
I have fun.
Me too. But we can't let you leave without you telling us, like, look in that camera, Nathalie, and let America know what's on that list for you. What is your ideal man like? What does he look like?
So my ideal man, my ideal husband, let's be clear, he's the husband that God's created for me. I used to have this like perfect list of you have to do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. No, I have non-negotiables. This man loves God, he loves himself, he loves family, he loves me. Like he loves me. I'm talking about my wife, my wife, my wife. That type of vibe, okay? That's what I want my husband to say. I love my wife, okay? That's the feeling. I want him to have that admiration about his wife and his family, so he can never, ever break God's heart when it comes down to us in the equation. And he's a hard worker. You know, he has money, he's working, but he might not be rich at the moment, because what happens is when a man finds his wife, he finds a good thing. So when you attract a Nathalie, we're going to 10x the life, okay? That's what we're going to do. And he's waiting for me. You know, my man, my husband, my man, he's not desperate right now. Like literally, he's not out here just like talking to everything and everybody. He's literally in his mind focusing on his craft, his what God has for him, his purpose. He's focused. He's having fun. He's doing his thing. I'm not really worried about that, because when you come to me, your past is your past. But what we're doing right now is working on ourselves. 1 + 1 = 2. A half plus 1 does not equal a union. He is working on his wholeness. I'm working on my wholeness, and together we will be whole and we'll create our forever, our happily ever after. That's my man.
Girl, Nathalie, this has been amazing. Season 2, I'm telling y'all. Nathalie, I don't think I've ever heard you in this type of conversation.
I don't talk about this stuff.
I knew, and you brought it, baby. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You are everything. Season 2, Nathalie Nicole. Guys, thank you again to the sponsor, TLC, with the NRG and the NutriBurst. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Nathalie. Again, you're amazing.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
All right, like, share, subscribe.